Hello, I'm Bryan, Wroten, senior reporter for CoStar News Hotels. I'm here today with Roman Pedan, founder and CEO of Kasa, a part hotel firm. And Roman, thank you so much for being here with us today. You guys are off of some pretty exciting news, I would say, right? With Mint House.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Oh, sure.
It's great to be here out of the snow in New York and in sunny LA. Yeah, we big news that we announced a week and a half ago. We acquired the assets of Mint House and added some really meaningfully high quality properties to our portfolio. A really beautiful property in the financial district called 70 Pine in New York. Amazing property next to the White House in DC. And marquee properties in Nashville, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Florida, Dallas, and Menlo Park, and other markets. So a big acquisition and a lot of effort on our team, on the Mint House team. Clearly a maturation moment for the apart hotel industry. Happy to talk about it more, but yeah, that's been exciting.
I would love that. What details can you tell us about how this deal came together to, I think, a pretty significant expansion for you?
Yeah, so we've known the Mint House team and respected them for quite some time. The sector as a whole, there's been a recognition that there's a need for scale. Scale is beneficial to owners. It's better for guests, right? If you have a larger network of properties to choose from as a guest, you are more excited for the brand that you're staying with. For owners, this added scale allows us to lower costs as well as add more capability. So we spread across more properties the meaningful investment that we're making to drive more property performance. We are integrating in a 1+1=3 way with Mint House, meaning we're taking the best of Mint House, the best of Kasa, and bringing together a product both for the guest and for the owner that delivers both more profit to the properties and a better and more compelling guest experience to the guests. So we're meaningfully, to that end, integrating the commercial team that Mint House had. They had quite a good corporate and group sales effort, and that complements some of the technology and capability that we have brought together. They ran a process at the end of last year to look for the right strategic partner, with the understanding that added scale will benefit all stakeholders. And we'd known them for a long time. There's a lot of cultural overlap. Our portfolios fit like a glove. So we have very similar quality properties. We have an overlapping set of markets, and there are complementary capabilities between the two companies. And so very validating that they chose to combine with us. And clearly it establishes us as the leader in the space, very much the industry standard.
You and I have talked before, and you've explained Casa's operating model. You guys follow a similar operating model as third-party management hotel companies, in which you sign management agreements with the properties that you then manage. Mint House is the same, making integration that much easier that way as well.
Correct. Yeah, their business model was management agreements. That's been the durable, proven approach in hospitality over the last 100 years, juxtaposed with leases, which seem good on paper, but in the end, they misalign incentives between owner and operator, and ultimately can create problems, as has been seen in a number of situations. Obviously, you've done a great job covering them, Sonder being a more recent one. But yeah, Mint House is in the management business, and so that made the integration cohesive and coherent with our strategy.
Now, your deal with Mint House is not the only part hotel company news that has been out there recently. Recently, we saw Hilton has aligned itself with Placemaker, growing its apartment offerings. Just curious what your thoughts are on that partnering up.
It's been a busy period for our part of the world. We're excited. We have great respect for Chris, KJ, and the Hilton team. We have great respect for Jason and Bao at Placemaker. We believe this is continued validation of the underlying thesis that consumers want a product like the one we're delivering, a apartment style product that is reliable and consistent and offers people more space as they're seeking more flexibility in their life and their travel. So we're excited about the deal. I think that also validates the fact that in hospitality, you've seen a saturation on the different ways you can slice a brand, right? There are so many Hilton brands that are similar to each other, Marriott brands that are similar to each other. They've done a really nice job curating the portfolios, but I'd struggle to find a consumer who can explain clearly what each of them mean. And there's a very clear distinction and a very clear white space around a style of hospitality around living and travel that is underserved meaningfully, especially relative to how much consumers demand it. And so I think it's a continued validation that this is a white space in the hotel sector. And as there's saturation across other types of hospitality, this is the fastest growing kind of open area that is just getting started.
That leads into and actually partially answers my next question. We saw Marriott had partnered with Sonder a while ago. That didn't exactly work out, let's say, but seeing Hilton with Placemaker, we're just seeing more major hotel brands that have been up until this point pretty traditionally hotels. They've gone into boutique, they've gone into lifestyle. We're seeing more interest in some short-term rental kind of things, a lot of outdoor experiences, but specifically now working in and partnering with players in the apart hotel space. Just overall, what do you think this is going to mean for the area in which you operate?
Yeah, so it obviates that this is the fastest growing area of hospitality. When people say lifestyle, and I stay in a lifestyle in quotes property, I actually don't really feel like this is my lifestyle. But when people stay at a property that is an apartment style property, that is how people live. And so, and I say that maybe tongue in cheek because there's a metaphorical meaning around lifestyle properties, but perhaps more obviously, the types of properties that allow people to live on the road like they live at home should be the way we want people to travel. We want people to be guests in our properties, and there's just very few options for that. I think one of the things to one of the interesting observations around how things have happened in how the sector we're operating in is that the big brands have chosen to partner versus build de novo, and I think intentionally so, and for a good reason. Hilton famously focuses on organic growth. I think they've done a great job building organic brands, and there's a recognition that apartment style properties, apart hotels, are different, that the consumer need is different, that the operational approach is different, the way developers think and what they need in order to be able to make their properties pencil are different. How you approach trust and safety is different. And we've learned that in a very meaningful way over the last 9 years, building the company to become the industry standard and leader. And the hotel brands, Marriott in their partnership with Sonder and Hilton in their partnership with Placemaker are recognizing that. And I think Marriott did the right thing in seeking to partner. Obviously, the lease model created some challenges within the Sonder partnership. So it was the right thesis, but perhaps the Sonder end of the execution didn't match the durable model in hospitality.
We're seeing a lot of attention on the apart hotel space right now, particularly with these brand partnerships and with your recent acquisition. But what was the environment like in the years leading up into this point?
Yeah, we've been training in the toughest gym of hospitality. We've had a really interesting ride, right? There was a lot of when I founded the business, one of our investors shared their investment memo on betting on us, and it noted that there were 22 companies in this broader sector that had raised meaningful and high quality equity into their businesses. And they chose us, which we were flattered by. But there's a lot of competition as a result of this being a really meaningful growth area for hospitality. And then there were just filter after filter of getting punched in the face for companies in this space. We had a lot of folks focused on the lease model, fueled by WeWork in an adjacent sector, making that financeable for a period of time. That proved, again, not to be the right approach. COVID obviously hurt everyone in
Yeah.
hospitality. Interest rates hurt everyone in hospitality. But especially if you're building from anew, those external shocks affect you in a disproportionate way. If have a more if you have a larger organization that's already built out, that it's easier to work through those. But when there's so much volatility and change happening around you for some of these early companies that were really building in this space, it's more challenging. And so today, as the sector has matured, there's now really two companies, ourselves and Placemaker, as the durable, stable, companies. There's been a lot of consolidation along the way. It's not unusual for sectors to have that happen, but the last 7 years have been unusual in the number of challenges that have been posed. And then you sort of zoom out and you see this maturation, you see the 22 converging on two stable, scaled, leading companies. And as you look forward, we feel really excited because while there's a lot less noise, the current investment memo would say there's two companies that have really worked out the kinks and have figured out how to operate in this space. There's a lot of opportunity. So there's less noise, and the opportunity set is maybe greater than I've ever seen. The trends behind what we're building, partially around flexibility in living and travel, are increased versus what we saw when we started the business in 2016. We also saw a need to lower cost in the hospitality operations. Maybe not mentioned here. Kasa operates apart hotels. We also operate boutique hotels as well.
Right.
So in all types of hospitality, costs have increased faster than RevPAR, and that has really challenged traditional models. This year, in 2025, that was another year when RevPAR meaningfully lagged cost increases. And part of Kasa's DNA is having built an operating system, a technology stack underneath the surface that fundamentally removes costs from, lowers costs, this cost structure of operating hospitality. And that trend has only continued, if not accelerated. And so we stand in this moment where the number of players who are fewer, they're more mature, and the opportunity set is greater. So we're very excited, but we know we'll have work ahead.
Speaking of looking ahead, as you look to the rest of the year from where things stand currently with your company, with just the hospitality landscape and the broader macroeconomic environment, what are your expectations then for this year?
Yeah, well, so for every year, the last couple years, there's been hope at Alice, and then come NYU, that hope is dispelled a little bit, and come the end of the year, people are like, next year will be the year. I think this year has a chance to be an inflection point. I do think the trend of costs increasing faster than revenue will continue this year, but that may flip in the years after. An inflection point meaning there will be some trends that start to show signs of stabilizing. The transaction volume in the hospitality world has been down in the U.S. dramatically since 22. At some point, owners will need to sell, and lenders will push for that outcome. And so while there won't be a flood in my view this year, there will start to be an inflection point on that front. And across, and obviously this year there will be some, FIFA will and the World Cup will potentially impact the demand side of the hospitality world. The trends that we're building behind, I expect to continue to be important and to continue to be needed in the future. So cost control will be more important. Frankly, we're doing a lot and seeing a lot with AI. It's not a silver bullet. It requires immense effort and iteration to really integrate into your operation and improve guest outcomes and drive down costs. Doing so will become more and more important. Personalizing stays will become more and more important. Delivering a compelling and unique experience and a differentiated one versus standing out as a operator and as a brand, more so than many brands currently do, will be more important. And the integration of living and travel will, over the next decade, not just this year, become more and more important. It's just the natural progression of hospitality to really feel like you're hosting someone as their home away from home.
Roman, thank you so much for being here with us today and talking through all these things with us. And thanks all of you for tuning in, and stick with CoStar News Hotels for further coverage from the Alice Conference.
Thank you, Bryan. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Davon Reed.
I'm Omari Head.
And I'm Chris Henry.
We're the hosts of the Next Gen and Lodging podcast. It's a monthly show in which we interview a new generation of hoteliers to get their insights into a variety of disciplines and topics, from finance to food and beverage and hotel operations. Listen to us on Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode of the CoStar News Hotels podcast was recorded on January 26, 2026 at the America's Lodging Investment Summit by Meredith Sheridan and edited for podcast by Bryan Wroten. Head to CoStar.com/hotel news for more coverage from that event and more. You can find all our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or your platform of choice. Thanks for listening.